Yeah.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. We are on the record. Today is Tuesday, April 13th, 2021. This is a City Council caucus meeting of the Jersey City Municipal Council. In effort to adhere to social distancing protocols and best practices imposed by the city and state authorities, the City of Jersey City has canceled all public meetings and closed non-essential services, excuse me, as of March 16, 2020 until further notice. As a result, this council caucus will be held virtually as a video conference with public access. We had a scheduled 4 p.m. start. The clock on my computer is showing 4 p.m. May I have a roll call for the commencement of this caucus? Councilperson Ridley is not here yet. Councilperson Prinzeri.
Here.
Councilperson Baggiano.
Yeah.
Councilperson Soleil is not here yet. Councilperson Solomon, not here yet. Councilperson Robinson will be late. Councilperson Navarro, not here yet. Councilperson Rivera.
Here.
And Council President Waterman.
Here.
We have 4 council members in attendance at 4 p.m. In addition, at the time of its preparation, the agenda of this meeting was similarly disseminated on Friday, April 9th, 2021 at 4:40 p.m. to the mayor, council, business administrator, and the local newspapers and posted on the city's website, so I can certify as to our total compliance with the Sunshine Law. Okay. With that being said, I don't see our honorable Congressman Donald Payne on yet.
Okay.
Until he comes on, if you don't mind, Council President, I'll
Sure.
take it from the top.
Yes.
Okay, so once he comes on, we'll defer right to the Congressman, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Very good. All right, so the first item we have on the agenda, item 3.1, City Ordinance 21-024, an ordinance by the Municipal Council of the City of Jersey City accepting the dedication of certain roadways, sidewalks, and utilities located within the Liberty Harbor North redevelopment area.
Who's here to explain that? Who's here? Someone from planning?
I believe Paul Russo is on that
Oh.
ordinance.
Oh, okay. Is Paul here?
Don't
This is Andrew Vicio. Paul is not here. I'm not prepared to speak to this one, but I can take down any questions and follow up afterwards.
Oh, okay. Tell Paul he has to come to the council to speak concerning this ordinance. This is the first reading. So by the time we come to the second, he should have pretty much met with this council. If not, then, we're going to start just, withdrawing them because they should be here to give us an answer.
Yeah, and Council President, just to mirror that, I did send an email today verifying that individuals should be here, and if they do not, we will start removing the items from the agenda.
Okay, all right, thank you. Go to the next one, Sean.
Okay, just for the record, I wanted to mark Councilperson Ridley and Councilperson Solomon present at 4:03 p.m. So now we have 6 council members in attendance at 4:03. Okay, next item is item 3.2, City Ordinance 21-025, an ordinance supplementing Chapter 332, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 2, Traffic Regulations, Section 332-5, One-Way Streets, and Article 3, Parking, Standing, and Stopping, Section 332-22, Parking Prohibited at all time, and Section 332-31, Parking Restrictions for Street Cleaning Purposes for Manning Avenue, and Article 2, Traffic Regulations, Section 332-9, Stop Intersections for Multi-Way Stop at Randolph Avenue and Harmon Street.
Andrew?
Yes, Council President.
Go ahead, this is yours.
Yes,
Ordinance.
so this.
Go ahead.
this ordinance would change Manning Avenue to a one-way road. It currently operates as a two-way road, but it's essentially too narrow for two vehicles to pass each other. So it would establish it as a one-way road to allow parking on one side of the street. And traditionally, there hasn't been any street cleaning on this road, so this ordinance would address that as well. Another element of this ordinance is to establish multi-way stop control at the intersection of Randolph Avenue and Harmon Street.
Questions, council? Okay, next one.
Okay, so just for the record, I have Councilperson Saleh and Councilperson Navarro marked present at 4:05 p.m. So now we have 8 council members present at 4:05.
Council President.
Sean, did you mark me in also?
I did. Councilperson Ridley,
Okay.
you're marked in at 4:03 p.m.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Council President, my apologies for being late. Can I ask a question about 3.1?
The person, well, Paul is not here, so we told him he have to show up before the council before, the second reading, or else we just going to withdraw this. That's it.
Councilperson Navarro, would you mind emailing your question to Andrew Vicio and he'll forward it to Paul Russo, and we can see if you can get your question answered?
And I'll make sure that Paul is aware that he has to attend for the second reading.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, before we move on, I believe we have the Honorable Congressman Donald Payne on the line. Congressman, are you there?
I'm here. Good afternoon. I
Okay.
apologize having difficulty with the video.
That's okay, and I apologize not knowing that you were there. So I wanted to defer to you as soon as you got on. So, before I do that, I wanted just to make a quick announcement. So again, we have Councilperson Ridley in at 4:03, Councilperson Saleh at 4:05, Councilperson Solomon at 4:03, and Councilperson Navarro at 4:05. So now we have 8 council members present. So Congressman, it's all yours.
Well, let me just say it's an honor and a privilege to be here with the council members and the people of Jersey City. I was doing fine there, Sean. I was reminiscing on my days on the council, so I was going to speak up. I was going to tell you that I was in at 4:07, but I guess I don't qualify. But it's really a privilege being here with you tonight. It's still a very difficult time for our country. COVID-19 continues to affect daily life. And as we've seen the uptick in New Jersey, we're very concerned about it on the federal level. But unlike last year, we have a path to return to normal. There are several vaccines in use throughout the country to protect Americans from COVID-19. And, the situation with them looking at Johnson & Johnson, I'm sure after the investigation is done, that they will return to the use of that. It's only been 6 people out of 100 million shots. So, that is a minute number of people that are impacted in this manner, but it still has to be resolved. So Moderna and Pfizer are still in use. And right now we're vaccinating about 3 million Americans every day. At that rate, we could reach the threshold for herd immunity in the fall. When we reach that milestone, we can reopen society safely and completely and not have to worry about masks nor social distancing anymore. President Biden has said we might be able to reach that point by July, and the way that he's going, I tend to believe him. But until that day, I'm fighting in Congress, to get the resources to help you survive this global pandemic. And it is much easier with President Biden's leadership in the White House than it has been over the past year. Recently, we approved the American Rescue Plan, a $1.9 trillion stimulus package that helps Americans and local governments, which was very important to us. And we had been working on since last May and finally got it into the plan that helps deal with coronavirus directly. It includes funds to increase vaccinations nationwide. The new package benefits for Jersey City residents. It will help in several ways. It provides, as you know, the very popular $1,400 stimulus check to help lower and middle income Americans pay bills during the crisis. It includes an additional $300 in unemployment benefits to jobless Americans until September. It includes $38 billion to help Americans pay for rent and mortgages. And it stops evictions and foreclosures until October. It adds almost $8 billion to the popular payroll protection program so small businesses can keep their employees on the payroll. And it creates a new $25 billion restaurant revitalization fund, which I think people should really look into to support the food service industry directly. In addition, it expands the child tax and earned income credit to keep millions of children fed and out of poverty. Thankfully, Jersey City will get help as well. The plan provides $350 billion in badly needed aid to states and cities. And I was proud to tell Mayor Phillips, I fought to get Jersey City about $146 million from this fund. In addition, that plan establishes programs to vaccinate every American and reopen every school. It will use $20 billion to increase vaccination production and distribution, add more medical staff to provide vaccinations and injections, and provide better transportation to make sure vaccinations get to communities on time. So I was proud to get us the help, get the help of the Federal Vaccination Center that we see FEMA has landed at Njsa to support the entire district. It is open now and can vaccinate 6,000 people every day. In addition, the increased vaccinations will help us reopen schools for in-person learning, which is very important. President Biden's plan includes $130 billion to do that nationwide. The money will reduce class sizes or modify spaces for in-person instruction. And it supplies protective equipment for students and staff. And it also improves the health and safety of schools to protect students and staff from COVID-19. Personally, I'm very committed to getting students back in the classroom safely. We know they need to be in school in order to get the direction in their classes that they need. I wrote a letter to the Department of Health and Human Services to designate teachers as frontline workers several months ago. Recently, President Biden has taken action to make teachers vaccinations a higher priority. And I wrote a letter to President Biden to implement my Mask for Students Act. It was a bill that allows the federal government to reimburse school systems for protective equipment and expenses. Schools need their funding to continue to improve student education, not on PPE. And the government needs to reimburse schools to support those efforts. My website is dedicated to helping you apply for the benefits and aid packages that you need. So please visit pain.house.gov. It contains links to agencies and departments to help you get stimulus funds as well as PPP guidelines. Also, it has information about unemployment benefits and how to keep your family safe. Again, that website is pain.house.gov. And if you have specific questions, I'm proud to say that my office during the entire pandemic has never closed. And I want to really commend my staff for being willing to serve the people of the 10th District. So if you have specific questions, my district office is open 973-645-3213. 973-645-3213. We're on the job to help you get what you need. So thank you for allowing me to speak to you here in Jersey City today. Madam President, you know I always show you deference and have great honor. I apologize that I did not recognize you at the beginning of my speech. But, you know, all of you can let me know if you have any questions or how I can help you in the future. I love Jersey City. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Congressman.
Okay.
Okay. We're going to go back to our first reading ordinances. Next item is item 3.3, City Ordinance 21-026, an ordinance supplementing Chapter 332, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 7, Metered Parking, Section 332-57, On-Street Permit Parking Zones, adding Pearl Street and modifying Steuben Street, and Article 8, Permit Parking, Section 332-58, Parking Restrictions in Residential Zones, modifying Zones 4, 7, and 18. Any questions or comments on this ordinance?
Andrew, you want to explain it?
Yes, Council President. When I would say about a year ago, there were widespread changes to the zone parking regulations in Ward E. We had inadvertently modified the limits of some of the streets that have commuter on-street parking. This ordinance just clarifies those boundaries. It doesn't extend the boundaries. It just corrects them essentially.
Okay. All right. Any question, Council? Okay. Thank you. Go ahead, Sean.
Okay. Last one is item 3.4, City Ordinance 21-027, an ordinance supplementing Chapter 332, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 2, Traffic Regulations, Section 332-9, Stop Intersections, Multi-Way Stops at Warren Street and Morris Street, and at Warren Street and York Street.
Andrew?
Any questions, comments? Oh, sorry.
Andrew, just you?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
This just modifies two intersections in Ward E to change them to all-way stop control for safety reasons.
Okay. Any question, Council? All right. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you, Andrew. Very good. Okay, on to our second reading. Ordinances, item 4.1, City Ordinance 21-021, an ordinance supplementing Chapter 332, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 9, Parking for the Disabled of the Jersey City Code, designated reserved parking space at various locations throughout the city. Any questions? Okay.
Okay.
Item 4.2, City Ordinance 21-022, an ordinance authorizing the execution of the rights-of-way use agreement between the City of Jersey City and Global Inter-Exchange LLC to permit the installation of fiber optic cabling through existing inner ducts located in existing underground conduits within certain public rights-of-way for the purpose of providing telecommunication services. Any questions on this ordinance?
No questions? Okay.
Item 4.3, City Ordinance 21-023, an ordinance supplementing Chapter 332, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 8, Permit Parking, Section 332-58, Parking Restrictions in Residential Zones for parking regulation changes on Grove Street. Any questions on this ordinance? Okay, and just council members, just a reminder, we do have a companion resolution waiving the 20-day waiting period on this ordinance as well. Okay. All right, we have our request for public hearing. We have 10 speakers so far. Any questions or comments on the petitions and communications items 6.1 through 6.33? Okay, we also have office communications items 7.1 and 7.2. We will have report of directors. We have the letters signed by the mayor and the resumes attached to the resolutions that are making the appointments to the MUA and the judges. So they will have report of directors on there. We'll have 5 of them. Claims, our claims list is posted. And we're going to move on to our resolutions. Our first resolution, item 10.1, City Resolution 21-267, the resolution in support of Senate Bill 2656, Assembly Bill number 5301, that requires access to law enforcement disciplinary records as government records.
Someone's here for this?
This is mine, Council President.
Go ahead.
Council, this is a non-binding resolution that would assert our support for the bills that Sean read. Those bills have been introduced both in the Senate and the Assembly. I believe the Senate bill was from Senator Weinberg. And what they do is they take law enforcement disciplinary records with appropriate precautions to ensure the appropriate privacy of law enforcement officers, and says that those would be government records, open and accessible to the public. And I think speaks to the question we are asking as a city and as a state and as a country around how do we ensure that there's trust between law enforcement and the community. And one key barrier to that trust is secrecy, in which all or most of law enforcement disciplinary records are kept secret. So this would in essence say that Jersey City is in support of the bill at the state and the Assembly. Would not put anything into effect locally. It would simply offer support to the state bill.
Okay. Any question, council?
May I ask Councilman Solomon, can we get a copy of the bills that are
Absolutely
attached? And just so the records as they currently stand, the public does not have access to it. Is that accurate? But how about elected officials? Are we able to access these records?
No, I'm not 100% expert, but my understanding is elected officials, we are not. It is only law enforcement. So the Attorney General, members of his office, and other law enforcement agencies have access to these records, but not elected officials.
Okay. Could I ask the law department to opine on that? And it doesn't have to be given to me today, but some opinion about whether we can, as council people, gain access to disciplinary records or files of personnel, both for police, but also for civilian employees as well. It's a question I've raised in the past, frankly, on civilian employees in particular, but not directly, and have been told that would look into it, but never got a response on that. So I'd like to get if you could opine in writing on that, whether it's legally permissible for us to be able to access those records, either confidentially or yes, more confidentially access those records.
Okay. Somebody from the law department, Peter or Nick? You heard the question, right? So could you find that out and send it to us?
We will, Council President.
Okay. All right.
Very good. Okay, item 10.2, resolution 21-268 is a resolution authorizing the waiver of the 20-day waiting period pursuant to NJSA 40:181B for City Ordinance 21-023, as I stated earlier. Any questions on this resolution? Okay. Item 10.3, City Resolution 21-269. It's a resolution authorizing refunds due to overpayments for property tax accounts.
Ed?
I believe we have Ed Tolosa on the line.
Okay.
Now, yeah, hello. Okay, good afternoon, council members.
Good afternoon, Ed.
Okay, the resolution basically, I think it is the collector basically who initiated it, but these are more or less, overpayments. Mostly this occur when you have a title transfer. The seller pays it, and then the newcomer or the new title owner pays it. That's the result of the overpayment. Let us differentiate this from the overpayment as a result of a judgment. I think this is just a regular overpayment made by taxpayers.
Okay, any questions? Okay.
Thanks so much, Ed.
Thank you.
Item 10.4, Resolution 21-270 is a resolution ratifying an amended emergency contract to Bespoke Health LLC to provide COVID-19 vaccinations and operate a call center as part of the city's ongoing response to the coronavirus pandemic.
Somebody's here. This is Health and Human Service.
Yes.
Stacy here, or she have a representative?
Sean, I'll reach out if we can just defer Stacy's items, and we'll make sure we get somebody on the call prior to ending it, so they can.
Okay.
No problem.
Council President, if I may
Yes.
just, I know we've done that in the past, but I would ask in this particular case that if we're not able to cover that this be withdrawn. It's a $15 million contract.
Yeah, that's my
That's
whole thing. If they're not here to really explain and what we need, then we just need to, because we need explanations for this. Go ahead, Sean.
Thank you.
Okay. Excuse me. Item 10.5, Resolution 21-271 is a resolution authorizing the execution of a grant agreement with the New Jersey Economic Development Authority. Okay.
Someone here?
I can speak on this, Council President. This is a grant agreement with the EDA, and they're going to allow us for reimbursement up to $10,000 for our Meals on Wheels program.
Okay.
I'm sorry, John. I didn't see that.
No, it's fine.
I only see the titles as I'm reading them. I would have never read that one into the record until we get
Okay,
to
okay. No worries, no worries.
All righty. Our next one is this also a Stacy item?
10.6?
Yeah. John?
Yeah, let's Sean, let's move to 10.8, and we'll go back and revisit 10.4 to 10.7. No, of course.
Sean or Council President, just for the record, because I was just in a meeting with Stacy, we're in a National Leadership Academy for Public Health, and we had a meeting from 3 to 5, so she might still be stuck in that meeting and will probably show up late.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, we're going to defer items 10.4 through 10.7. So we're now moving on to 10.8. It's a resolution, resolution 21-274, a resolution authorizing the city to enter into a cooperation agreement with the Jersey City Redevelopment Agency to redevelop and restore the Lowe's Theater and Padside building. I believe we have Director Diana Jeffrey on the line.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. We also have Joe Bauman, counsel for the agency, who's here to answer any questions. So you may recall that a few years ago, the JCRA bonded to purchase the Pathside building from the county college, and we have been holding on to it. It is in a state of disrepair. So you may know this, the city and went in and demoed the initial first floor. And now we'd like to go in and do an internal demo of some of the other floors. The roof needs some repair. There's other structural repairs that need to be done. And this cooperation agreement would enable us to get that done with the city's help. Eventually, we hope to turn this building into something that will benefit Journal Square and cultural arts. But for now, we need to address some of these issues in the meantime.
Question?
So the repairs, this is Councilman Navarro. So the repairs are intended to stabilize the path side, or is it beyond that scope?
Stabilize, maintain, prevent further damage. We're hollowing out the middle. The first floor has already been done. We want to also demo the second floor. Right now, it was used, as you guys probably know, by the college. It was a college building. So this will help us. Doing this work will help us enormously to maintain the building. We're paying a substantial amount right now to keep the building, keep the electricity on, which we need for the fire alarm. And our insurance premiums have been going up because they don't like to insure vacant buildings. So we think that if we do some of this work, it will enable us to, it'll ease some of the costs, and it will help us prepare the building for its future use, whatever the city determines that to be.
So for this Councilman Navarro again, may I continue, or is someone else?
Well, I think
Yeah,
Councilman
James.
Boggiano is trying to say something,
Great.
but
Go ahead. All right, James, go ahead.
Sure, I'll ask my question. I think Councilman Boggiano just froze.
Right.
Director, apologies, I missed this. Is there an estimated cost to the path? What, I guess who's paying for those?
well, there's our ongoing monthly costs just to maintain the buildings. And oh no, sorry, my laptop is starting to die. Let me try to plug this in while I'm talking to you. And Joe, so those monthly costs are about it's about $10,000, but the cost of these repairs should be detailed in the cooperation agreement, and if they're not, then
yeah, let me just jump in. So the
sorry, I have to make sure I don't die on you.
Yeah, so the repairs that have been made thus far have been paid for a combination of the bond proceeds that were available, city personnel that assisted, and I think those have been the primary sources. But the cooperation agreement is really designed to also allow us to continue to evaluate the future costs that maybe need to be incurred. So it's a recognition that the building is while it's the agency's the redevelopment entity, it's owned by the agency, but it's a cooperation between the city, similar to Lowe's, which is also covered. So this is just to memorialize our cooperation among the two bodies.
Yeah, sure, but it doesn't say that there's, I guess, the repair costs that the repair actions that the director just outlined. I'm trying to understand how expensive they are. I didn't apologize if I missed it, but I did not see it in the agreement anywhere.
Yeah, no, it's not. It was not in the agreement. It's an evolving number. For now, we do things as we can, either have the funds or you have city assets. So, for example, I think the demo work, I believe the city might have employed some of the people from DPW because that was less expensive. So it's a cooperative effort based upon the money available, but mostly designed to further evaluate what will be needed long term before we actually have the real numbers.
Okay. And the intended use right now, I understand we had a consulting team that we approved, I think 2 years ago, and I guess is their report finished, and is that accessible to the public?
That's still ongoing.
Are we still contracted with them? Like, are they still doing work in essence for us?
Yes.
Okay, and is there an end date for their work?
Success, I guess, will be the end date. But so we're in the process of still finding the right partner.
Okay. And when you say the right partner for the long-term use of the facility?
Correct.
Got it. And so there's no written document at this point that the public can look at that from saying, what is the result of this consulting team's work?
Not at this time, right? Yeah. But we have the description of what they're doing for us, if that would be helpful.
Sure.
Yeah, that's available to the public. So their proposal to us is available, and that's what we've been following that proposal. So that's available. But we don't have like a final report if that's what you're looking for.
Sure.
Diane, when we spent this $10 million, it was the understanding that most of this building was going to be a museum for the history of Jersey City. And I hope that's what it's going to be, because that's what we were promised.
That wasn't, with all due respect, Councilman Bosciano, that there wasn't a specific purpose for the museum that was.
Oh, yes, there was.
It wasn't. We can go back to the official records. I'm fine with, confident in that personally, but I'm sorry, my screen froze up, so I didn't get to hear a lot of what's said about kind of what the if the planning was done and what information is currently available for the public, as well as for the city council, if there's preliminary reports done by the consultant. Who is the consultant again?
OMA. The consultant is OMA, and the principal there is Jason Long. That's an architectural and design firm. So what I said before, Councilman, was that we don't have a final report that we can provide to the public or the council from the consultant, but the consultant's proposal is available, and that informs what they've been doing with us and for us. So, you know, if I'm trying to think if there's anything, I don't think that there's anything else that we have in writing that we can present to you, but I hear what you're saying. What I think you're saying is you'd like some, almost like a progress update. Yeah,
I'd like a progress report. Where do we stand with this? If I recall correctly, and this is a vague, just based on recollection and memory, is that OMA was going to do a series of possible charrettes or community outreach of some sort and get input on different things. I don't know how much of that has been conducted and how much input has been received, and to determine what kind of purpose, to what Councilman Bosciano's point, what type of museum it may do. There was a point at which I think there would be some sort of analysis, or was supposed to be provided, that would allow the city to make a determination whether it was financially feasible and or cost prohibitive, and whether there, when I say cost prohibitive, perhaps not the right word, but what the cost might be for the city ongoing, if there was a cost, or if it would be self-sustaining, and that the city would then be able to make a determination at that point as to whether or not to move forward with further investments or not. And I think it's important to know where that point comes and when that decision is made, and not that it just kind of or has it already been made, and the council may not be aware of that. But that it was my understanding that there would be a clear delineation and line by which we would ultimately decide whether or not to move forward with a planned venture or as a museum, and if that didn't seem to be financially feasible, then to say what are other options at that point. And then I remember your predecessor, Mr. Donnelly, repeatedly saying that we could sell the property and recoup our costs inside of this project, and that it was a I don't want to say a no-brainer, but it was something like there was very little risk as a result, because we knew that the cost of the property was far, I mean, the value of the property far outweighed the cost that we were paying for it at the time. So.
Okay. So go ahead. We haven't reached the point yet where we can come back and make a prognostication or an estimate on whether or not this is financially feasible. But what we can do is provide you with, the agency can provide you with an interim report of what's been done so far, and what we are, and what the consultant has done for us. But what we're asking for now is that there are these needs to maintain the building, and it exceeds what the JCRA can handle, both financially and internally. And we're looking to the city as our partner to help us. Like Joe mentioned, the initial demo was done by the DPW with, with their personnel. So we would like to be able to take advantage of that or continue to work together that way. There's also some other, the building needs an investment, and we're just trying to maintain it for now until we can come to the end of this process and then decide what's to be done next.
Okay.
But certainly we can give you we can describe, or I can draft an interim report explaining what we've done so far.
Okay, Diane, could you do that, please? And send it to all of us. Send it to
Could I also
Desiree, and
ask-
she'll distribute it. Make sure
Sure.
we get it. Go ahead.
Could I also ask for a financial report? So we bond, did the JCRA bond? I forget how this financing worked.
We did, yeah.
JCRA. And the city secured that, right? And
Yes,
and
Counsel.
so could we get an accounting of the bonding, how much has been spent to date? As you talked about, the $10,000 monthly cost, how much we're looking at that, and the expenditures to date, and how much remains inside of that bond. And so when we move forward with the kind of the work on the maintenance and improvements, as you said, there's that number is a little elusive, I guess, as to what that number looks like. If you have any estimates towards that end, and then how that's being paid for through this agreement, is the city agreeing to pay for it, or is that the bond money paying for that?
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thank you. Go ahead, Sean.
Council President, if I can, I do believe Director Flanagan is available to answer any questions pursuant to her items.
Okay. All right,
Okay.
Sean.
We can defer back to item 10.4. Resolution 21-270 is a resolution ratifying an amended emergency contract to Bespoke Health LLC to provide COVID-19 vaccinations and operate a call center as part of the city's ongoing response to the coronavirus pandemic.
Hi, Director.
Hi. Sorry, it's been a little bit crazy. So part of our work that we've been doing when we sought out to start vaccines, we found that the state online Njsa system was not working. Like the county and other municipal entities throughout Hudson County, we created our own. This system continues to have issues, so we decided, because we had about 20,000 seniors, to start a call center. It seems our call center is much more efficient than the online system that on page 1 asks you for your insurance information. In addition, it doesn't come in Arabic. 10% of our city speaks Arabic. So that's an issue. We have people speaking English, Spanish, Polish, Arabic, Hindi, Gujarati, what else? Creole, and French on the call system. It's a significant cost. We're adding that cost along with the additional time we need to make vaccines happen. We are getting, I don't know if you understand the system that we're under. The state kind of put some rules around municipalities doing this on their own. They really wanted to force everyone to mega sites. So the county took on the role to support a greater county vision. And we took on a role to do a local project that really requires, at least for Pfizer, multiple physicians and pharmacists on staff, which is not necessary for Moderna. We started the Johnson & Johnson homebound slightly over a month ago. Today, there's been a dramatic pause in our J&J programming. And we are starting to see staff, like clientele from all over the state that drove all over the state to get vaccines, now seeking their second dose with us because of their failed attempts to get appointments in other communities. So we have a lot of road ahead of us on April 19th. The governor has opened global vaccines, but also on April 19th, we know that we're not getting any Pfizer nor J&J. And so we're all going to be back to like this up and down process of 3 days we get vaccines, 4 days we don't, 3 days we get vaccines. We need to use our vaccines, 75% of all the vaccines within 72 hours of receipt. It's really chaotic management, and I think we've been doing a really good job of trying to manage that.
Okay. Any question, council?
Yes. Can we get a report of the vaccination program to date? How many people have been vaccinated in Jersey City through our programs?
Yeah.
As well as demographics, including kind of if available race, ethnicity, gender.
Yeah.
Age.
I pulled, yeah, we can give you all the demographics, all of it. Dr. Bristola tried to pull it today. Again, the state system is down, so I can give you what we pulled last week, and then the limited information we got today, but he knows that we want full demographics. Our last pulling of data on Friday showed some zip codes, and so I can share with you that. Obviously, our highest zip code of support is 07305. We're right there. And then 07, 06, the lowest 310. And so kind of varies in between. So I'll share with you that. So what Sunali just pulled for me is the total number of Uber rides has reached about, we've used about $40,000 from Uber to date. And I'm going to read off. I can try to.
You know what, Stacy, just send all the reports to Desiree and she'll distribute it through the council.
Okay, I was just going to share. But to date, we've done about, we've generated 34,000 shots in arms, and the total number of vaccines for the city of Jersey City, including Hudson County, all of the Walgreens, Rite Aid, CVS, and federally qualified health centers is 81,000. So 11% of the population is completed full vaccines, and 21% of the population has had at least one dose of a 2-dose vaccine course.
Okay. All right.
I just want to make a comment, you know, to the Director of Health and Human Services, the Director of OEM, Public Safety Department. You guys have been really amazing during this whole pandemic, and especially now that we got all these vaccines. You know, the rollout has been fantastic. You know, you guys are so much appreciated. Keep up the great work. Dr. Bastola, I see you back there. Thank you so much for all you do. You really,
Dr. back there.
He's back there.
Where it was.
He's staying 6 feet plus away from me.
Okay, Sean, what's the next one for Stacy?
Sorry, Council President, can I just ask a question as well?
Yes.
So just two questions, Director. One is just an information request, which is, and I apologize if I missed this in the resolution, but is there sort of a breakdown of how the $15 million is being spent? And if you could, I don't need to talk about it, you just provide that.
We're continuing the work that we did in the former proposal, and then added the hour by hour of the different things that we didn't project us needing. That's an up to amount. We don't know if we'll get there, but instead of coming back, we envisioned like small community sites. And then when we got only 500, we couldn't like do what we intended. Once we got the FEMA first round of FEMA, which, you know, the state of New Jersey is the only state that received that, there needed significant, like just registration. So we're only paying for registration services there from Bespoke. At the Pfizer site, we're paying for 2 pods plus pharmacists at that one, which wasn't a normal, because Moderna wasn't included was only the one we were going to use. We started the process with the state. So what we asked them to do is give us like additional cost entities so that when we're using just registration site, when we're using FEMA staff, which by the way, you're all invited on Friday, the Department of Defense soldiers that have been here doing the FEMA project for the last 6 weeks are leaving after Fridays. And we're going to do a photo at 2:00 on the steps of City Hall so they can meet the mayor, see City Hall, because they've been up at the Collier Center the whole time doing that work. So we've got our medics in from all over the country on that FEMA project, but the registration component there was done by Bespoke. The security at the schools was paid for by the schools, so we didn't have to pay Bespoke like we do over at the Connor Center. At the Connor Center, we pay for pharmacists. Sorry, I keep saying physician for pharmacists because we're mixing the fee. So every little location is different than what we anticipated it being. And the only thing we added on to this was an addendum of the different cost breakouts. We're continuing with the other pod breakouts that you looked at in the last one.
Great. Right. The other quick question was just, in the original contract, we hired the outreach manager. And I was just wondering if we could get an update on that. Again, it can be via email as well, just what they're working, where they're at.
Yeah, and we'll share that with you. They've been working on, that's how we got, Tiki Barber here. We're working with CC Sabayatha to join us. And they get, I don't even know, I was like these really fabulous people. I'll let you know when he's coming to town. He's coming hopefully next week. Engage.
Okay, Sean.
All right, I'm sorry, Council President.
Stacey, we need you for 10.6 too.
I'm sorry, can I just continue on the vaccine? In addition to the demographics, if you can also provide information about the categories, meaning frontline workers, health workers, first responders, kind of numbers and breakdowns on that have been done through our program.
We can't provide that because it's self-reported. So while it was very tight in the process, each one of those things opened at a different time. So you'll see based on the week or the day, that's probably who we focused on. And so that's a little bit harder to provide everybody's personal job. It's not required in the NJISS, so we didn't keep all of it, but we do know based on some phone numbers they called, so I can get like some estimates around the profession in individuals.
Okay. How about city employees? Do we?
That's HIPAA related, and in HR, it's not required or mandated. What I can say is I did outreach at every level of opening. So health department staff were eligible December 20th. Police and fire were eligible January 10th. 65 and older were eligible January 14th. An outreach went out from HR when they opened up special needs. An outreach email went out from HR, and only those that responded directly to HR saying that they didn't already get a vaccine from somewhere else. We did encourage people, if they were eligible, to go to Kearney if they had a car, during their work time as a part of their work. So I know who's in my staff that's vaccinated, but I don't know everyone else's.
Two final questions, Council President. So the as a follow-up to James on the financial piece, can you give us an accounting and a breakdown of how the first $1 million has been spent and how much has been spent to date? And how it's been spent? Like what ways did they use the money, and was it just on personnel? Was it used on outreach, et cetera, whatever the case is?
And so there should be a bill in front of you to pay now, which is a partial payment voucher based on the first $1 million. This is the third bill that you're receiving since our start in January. So I'll have Margaret follow up with the invoices, but they've all been presented to you.
Okay. My final question on vaccination.
One more.
Final one on the vaccination is, I know you mentioned the call center. do we currently have or has Bespoke provided or set up an online registration function as we move beyond to the larger population and trying to get everyone vaccinated in New Jersey City, regardless of their demographics or what category they fall in?
So we did set up an online system. We just haven't put it live because what we've seen over the last 6 weeks is a lot of vaccine like bots stealing, and this is what happened across the state, which is why many municipalities are very slow to introduce new appointments. That people have these like Twitter bots online and are grabbing these appointments and saving them for other people that don't live in the city. And so when you speak to somebody, we see that we have greater transition to actually making an appointment and someone showing up at their appointment versus the research about the online appointment scheduling and greater numbers of no-shows. No-shows are very detrimental to our process. I mean, every evening I'm on the phone with all 6 locations to ensure that if there's 1 extra shot here or 3 extra shots there, that it goes to the appropriate people, only eligibles. And so things like that trip us up. That happened to us about a month ago. A local resident put something online. About 200 people showed up that were not, did not have appointments. This caused a little bit of dramatic engagement. That is not our interest. So we've been talking about the cognito forms we've already set up. We've set them up in 6 languages. And when we want to go live is probably after the first week, because we don't have a significant number of vaccines slated for the week of 4/19 when that's supposed to be the entire state. And so that's, a back and forth with the governor's office.
Okay, go ahead, Sean, next one. Because Stacy, I think go ahead, Sean.
Yep. Okay, so 10.5, Resolution 21-271, resolution authorizing the execution of a grant agreement with New Jersey Economic Development Authority. I believe
Yes.
John Metro
John answered that.
Yeah, that was passed. It just needs a new signature from John.
Yep.
Right, he answered that. Go ahead, next one.
Item 10.6, Resolution 21-272, resolution authorizing a shared service agreement with the County of Bergen pursuant to the Uniform Shared Service and Consolidation Act, NJSA 40A, Semicolon 65-1, Exec, for the City of Jersey City to provide services related to prevention of cancer.
Yeah, this is our annual cancer grant. This was renewed by the County of Bergen. They were pretty delayed in getting us the actual material, but this is retro to October 1. The staff member in place from October 1 to February 15th has left to go to HEDC. So we were waiting until you passed this to hire the new person.
Okay.
They do all the HPV and diabetes and cancer screening.
Okay. Go ahead, Sean.
Okay. And item 10.7, Resolution 21-273 is a resolution ratifying an emergency contract award to Blue Track Inc. to provide COVID-19 vaccine literature to senior citizens living in Jersey City as part of the city's ongoing response to the coronavirus pandemic.
Yeah, so we created, this is part of the work actually that was designed by the outreach team. And when FEMA told us that this particular outreach would be reimbursable, we thought, let's get some piece of paper, physical piece of paper with the phone number on it in the hands of every senior. We've seen about 10,000 seniors come through our vaccine program. We obviously want more than that. Once I share with you the demographics, you'll see. So we thought to put together something on paper and mail it direct to homes. Not the same mailing of the Mask Up, where that was went to residents. We saw that there were some hiccups there due to not having first-class stamps. So.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Can I ask, Director, on this one as well as the vaccine, what funds are being used to finance this?
100% of the funds are FEMA. Even what you passed in the prior, we had a meeting with FEMA. FEMA will reimburse 100% of our vaccine work.
How much FEMA money do we have to the vaccine?
It's undisclosed. It's based on what we spend on vaccine.
I see. All right.
Okay. Sean?
Director Flanagan, I don't think you have any other items on the agenda unless
my team told me I had, because I asked them to share with me before I hopped into this meeting.
Okay.
Homeless resolution.
The
Director Vivian Brady.
homeless.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Go ahead, Sean.
Yep.
Okay,
I think
so
one of our things was pulled because we wanted to get a more.
Yeah.
Right.
So item 10.28, resolution 21-294 is a resolution of the Municipal Council of the City of Jersey City in support of the expansion and improvement of the services provided at 514 Newark Avenue to people experiencing homelessness.
They pulling this one, right?
Yes, yes,
This the one they
yes,
pulling.
yes.
Okay. I
So,
think Rich wants to be with the community.
They're withdrawing this one?
I think
Yes,
so. Let's wait till we get to it.
Uproar.
It's an uproar, so let's just follow the order, Sean.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a conversation. Follow the order.
Okay.
Go back.
All righty. Okay, item 10.9, resolution 21-275 is a resolution ratifying the City of Jersey City execution of an identification agreement with the County of Hudson in connection with the city's use of county's firearm range on March 31st, 2021.
Who's here for this?
It was probably would have been the OEM and the police director, but they're still stuck at that scene.
Oh,
over
they still
there.
stuck at
So,
that incident.
yeah, I don't think we should pull
okay.
this because
Go
they're
ahead. There was an incident, yeah.
This one was entered by the law department.
Well, the law
On
department does a
behalf of-
lot, but they
of
don't
public
sponsor
safety,
them.
yeah.
I'll find that out.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
I mean,
Sean.
if anyone has questions on the police,
Right.
sorry, public safety, they can just email them to the
Correct.
director, or we'll get the answers.
Right. Go ahead.
And then just for the record, I see Councilperson Robinson present at 5:03 p.m. So we have all 9 council members present at 5:03. Okay.
Go ahead, Sean.
Item 10.10, resolution 21-276. It's a resolution authorizing the sale of nominal consideration of a 2007 Ford F55 truck to the Township of North Bergen Department of Public Safety. Again, any questions, just email them to the director. And I'll get a response. Item 10.11, resolution 21-277, resolution ratifying the award of professional service contract to the Institute for Forensic Psychology for the psychological evaluations of police recruits for the Department of Public Safety, Division of Police.
So this, I know I can email the Director of Public Safety and Director of Police as well. But
Yeah, 'cause they all out there. Go ahead.
But I think maybe the law department can also help me here and looking into this. So I'm wondering with the requirement, there's a hiring requirement for psychological evaluations. What the scope of the psychological evaluation is and whether it can be expanded to look into any sort of racial biases and things of that nature, that if that's a way to be able to kind of look into that to try to identify potential biases that people may have before they enter the job. If you could look into that, I don't expect an immediate answer, on that, but would appreciate if could look into that as far as it goes to the requirements
Okay.
of the psychological evaluation.
That's true. It's a good question.
Okay.
Go ahead, Sean.
Item 10.12, Resolution 21-278. It's a resolution authorizing the award of a professional service contract to the Institute of Forensic Psychology, PA, for psychological evaluations of fire recruits to the Department of Public Safety, Division of Fire. Okay,
Email your questions. Go ahead.
Item 10.13, Resolution 21-279 is a resolution ratifying and awarding a contract to Playcore Wisconsin, Inc. for the purchase and delivery and installation of a new playground system in Columbia Park, project number 2020-036 through Omnia Partners, formerly U.S. Communities, for the Department of Administration, Division of Architecture.
Someone's here?
Brian Weller is here.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Brian.
Sorry to disappoint you, Counsel. I am here. I can't.
Go
It's
ahead,
really
Brian.
hard. It's really hard to follow Stacy. That's all I can say. I don't know how she does it. So this resolution is ratifying because Council did approve of this. However, community involvement was not 100%. So I'm happy to report that since that time, the community has been involved and selected the play structure that is now being ordered via this U.S. Communities. And we are trying to expedite some variations of playground replacements, and using this U.S. Communities and other state contract types of procurement should speed things up. And so this is the first one, and we're going to keep our fingers crossed.
Questions?
So the funding here is
Capital.
capital.
Yes.
Can you give me a which capital account we're talking about, meaning which bond and year, and then what the amount was budgeted for and how much has been spent down to date and how
Sure.
much is remaining?
Absolutely.
Anyone else? Okay, Sean.
Okay.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Brian.
Quite welcome. Take care.
Item 10.14, Resolution 21-280 is a resolution authorizing the award of professional service contract to Colliers Engineering and Design for the preparation of plans, specifications, and construction oversight for the Municipal Aid Fiscal Year 2021 Cave and Point Liberty Harbor Roadway Preservation Project number 21-001-E for the Department of Administration, Division of Engineering, Traffic, and Transportation.
Someone's here?
I
I
believe
believe
Paul
we
is
have
here.
Director.
Hey guys, how are you?
Hey, Paul, you made it.
I made it.
Explain this one. Go ahead, Paul, and then we'll.
Sure. So we do a municipal aid project every year. This is a DOT funded project that gets reimbursed. It's typically about $2 million. For this specific project, it's actually 2 funding years. On Cave and Point and the additional roads that are on the award, we're looking to award a $4 million or close to $4 million project, which is 2 funding years of municipal aid. So we always get a consultant to do this. To do a DOT project, you need to have a survey. We do not do survey in-house. And you need to do it a very, very specific way to get the DOT funds reimbursed. As I said, this is close to $4 million that will be reimbursed to us. It is a very large scale project. And to hire a consultant is the way we always go with these large scale projects that are DOT reimbursed. And it's a very, very good price. Typically, for the design of the project, it's about 5 to 10% of the construction cost. So a $4 million project, it's 5 to 10% on that. And then also construction administration, which is having an inspector there daily, making sure that the construction is done to how it's bid. that's also another 5 to 10%. So this in total is only 7% of the construction cost. So it's a really good price from a good contractor that has always done good work for us on our designs and construction administration in the past. And we also put it out to 3 other contractors, and they were the lowest and have always done a great job for us.
Any questions?
I just want to say thank you for your work on this. I know that this is something that Ward A residents are looking forward to, moving this DOT project forward. So I hope that everything works out smoothly and we can get the funding to move that forward. And also on the resolution right before this with Columbia Park, thanks Brian and everyone in your department for your work on that. So
thank you.
Okay.
Council President.
Yes.
Were we trying to direct questions to Paul on 3.1 at the start of this meeting?
On this one first, then we'll go back.
Okay.
Okay. That's it? No more questions on this? Okay, Sean, Paul, we need you for 3.1.
So
Sure,
Paul,
no problem.
So Paul, 3.1 is the ordinance 21-024. The ordinance by the Municipal Council of the City of Jersey City accepting the dedication of certain roadways, sidewalks, and utilities located within the Liberty Harbor North redevelopment area.
Sure. So we worked with Amin, who is an inspector for us, and he worked with the developer. We went out there and did a inspection of all of the roads that are looking to be dedicated. Councilman Solomon was looped into all of our emails. The developer has addressed almost all. There's a couple very, very minor aspects that he still has to address, but that had to wait for the warmer weather. But all of the major aspects that we asked him to address in our inspection, he has. And we said, that all of the very, very minor things would be addressed as soon as the weather broke.
Who was the developer here?
I'll have to look. I don't have it offhand, but I believe it was.
It's Cary and Iron State. It's that they did like a partnership on the 235 Grand Street tower, and they were the ones who did those streets.
Correct.
Which are the specific streets? I know that there's a lot written into that ordinance, but it was tough for me to kind of filter out exactly which streets are being specifically dedicated. I didn't see a list of just that.
Sean, do you have the list available?
Do you want to send us the list? Because it's quite a few.
Yeah, we could send a list. We could even send, the inspection and what was addressed, if you like.
Yes, that'd be helpful.
Okay.
I think the list is also contained in the whereas clauses of the specific streets.
Yeah. If we can, Amanda, can you bring up the resolution? I mean, the ordinance 3.1. Which is ordinance 21-024. Yep. And if you can just scroll down a little bit.
I believe it's at the bottom of page 1, identifies the individual streets that we're discussing.
Okay. Can everyone see that?
Yes,
Property, yeah.
we can move on.
Okay.
And we have our inspection report that clearly details it as well. I think we even have a map outlining it that we can send to council.
Okay, send it just to Desiree and she'll make sure we all get it, okay?
You got it. No problem.
I appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Paul.
Have a
All
clear.
right, thank you all.
Go ahead.
Have a nice night.
Too.
Good night, Paul.
Paul's on the hook for one more reso.
Okay,
Oh, okay.
go ahead next, Sean.
I'm not getting rid of you just yet, Paul.
Go
All
ahead.
right.
Item 10.15, Resolution 21-281, Resolution authorizing professional service agreement with Environmental Remediation and Financial Services, LLC, to provide the city with environmental services.
Sure. So Nick Strasser can also attest to this, but an LSRP is needed, which is anytime there's an environmental soils issue. It is a specialized license in engineering. It's somebody who deals specifically with soil remediation. Nobody on our staff is an LSRP. Therefore, anytime we need something signed off from an LSRP dealing with DEP projects, such as PPG, we need to consult and get an LSRP to help us with that task. And the gentleman that is helping us with this task, Nick has worked with for many years, and he has worked on this PPG site and has a lot of historic knowledge. He's worked on this site for, Nick, I think 7-8 years or so.
I think we're actually pushing 10 years at this point.
We're pushing 10 years. So the guy, he's terrific. He's always done a great job for us. We always check other prices, and he's always terrific with his prices. He has historic knowledge. He's got a good relationship with everybody we deal with from DEP that have also worked on this project for many years. And quite frankly, we need him because we don't have anybody on staff that can complete this task.
Yeah, I just want to echo everything that Paul said, because I deal with Mr. Spader quite a bit on the PPG remediation. He has an amazing amount of historic knowledge going back to 2011, when he was first retained by the cities, who predating most of us, which is extremely helpful. And it's been really helpful to me explaining kind of the technical ins and outs of the projects when I need some assistance in interpreting the DEP documents and the various remediation efforts. So this is really an important contract for the city.
Okay.
So he is
All
contracted by the city, and the PPG used to pay us so we could pay for this service, correct?
And yeah, there was a settlement going back to I believe 2008. It was a matter of $350,000 for consulting services. Unfortunately, since I have been here in about 2018, that number was expended. So we have been spending this on our own at this point. I have opened up discussions with PPG to say, obviously this is going on a lot longer than PPG or the city or I think anybody involved anticipated. And in light of that perhaps PPG should be assisting us further with a financial contribution for this consulting services. So I have opened up the lines of communication to PPG to address that, and hopefully that'll be fruitful. However, I would stress that the most important thing is for this contract to be approved, and then hopefully we'll be able to be reimbursed on the back end because these services are so important to the city as part of the finishing of the remediation project.
Yeah, and so this individual's role in the project is, he acts as our agent in this remediation effort, which is going on now, what, for 10 years, a decade? Is that?
It's about 10 years at this point. Yeah, but he works specifically for the city.
And what's his role inside of that? As our representative inside of this remediation effort?
Any technical documents coming from PPG, DEP, or the site administrator that comes through the city, he reviews. He participates with me on all meetings with PPG, and the site administrator we call every other Monday, which he participates with me on as a representative of the city from the technical side, me from the legal side. So anything that comes through the city related to the PPG remediation.
And many aspects and documentation that are coming to us from DEP demand that they need sign off from an LSRP. So again, we don't have anybody on staff that can fulfill that need of signing off and handling these documents and attesting to whatever remediation is being addressed.
Just on the PPG site itself. So this was going on for over a decade. Do we have refresh my memory or just give me a primer on, do we have a settlement agreement with them in this? I don't recall exactly the specifics with PPG as it stands on this whole
there was a settlement agreement going back years. As part of that, a site administrator was appointed by the court to oversee the remediation. The site administrator conducts regular meetings with, like I mentioned, every other week, as well as other other meetings to facilitate and review the chromium remediation by PPG in conjunction with DEP and the city. So the site administrator is the court-appointed person to handle that. We go back to court roughly twice a year to report to Judge Jablonski as to the status of the remediation and making sure there are no issues that need to be addressed by the court. The site administrator actually maintains an excellent website, which contains all of the updates that he gives to the court, which I can be able to forward to the members of the council, so you can review as to the status reports that have been given to the court.
Okay, I don't want to bog down this meeting with the details of this, but we have a closed session coming up, right? And I don't know if it's worthy of having that be included in that, but kind of where the status of this whole remediation effort and the site remediation. You know, we had the similar outcome or similar type of efforts with Honeywell, and then we ended up acquiring that property. I don't know if a similar initiative or effort is contemplated here as well. I don't know if the standards of remediation are the similar in that we could redevelop the property, or it could be redeveloped, or to what level it could be redeveloped. So it'd be helpful to me to kind of have a primer on that again, to kind of just figure out kind of where we stand and how much longer we're looking at this, and then what the next steps of the phases are beyond this. Is there like an imminent end to this remediation at some point, or is it?
It's hard to say, because a lot of it depends upon the status of the remediation to know, well, because what happens is, for example, right now we're going through a lot of groundwater remediation. The question is, as you start to remediate the groundwater, how much do you find? How fast does the remediation go? And sometimes it goes faster than you expect. Sometimes it goes slower than you expect. So it's difficult to pinpoint a timeline. I will tell you that everyone probably thought 10 years ago that we would be not talking about this right now, that it would have gone a lot faster. But a site as large as the PPG area remediation, and the scope of the remediation, it's difficult to know exactly how long it's going to take. But I think as a starting point, I'll forward the update that the site administrator sent to the court. I think that'll give everyone some color as to what the status is, and we can answer any follow-up questions at that point.
Okay, thanks, Nick.
Sure, Council President.
Okay, Sean.
Okay. Item 10.16, a resolution 21-282 is a resolution supplementing the manual of bus stop designations of the city of Jersey City, repealing a bus stop on Ocean Avenue.
I guess Andrew. Doug.
Yep.
Hello, Council. The purpose of this resolution is to repeal one bus stop on Ocean Avenue at Dwight Street. Based on conversations with Councilman Robinson, one thing to consider about this is that there is an existing bus stop located approximately 300 feet away, which would remain.
Okay. Any questions? Go ahead, Sean.
Okay. Item 10.17, resolution 21-283 is a resolution authorizing the payment of a claim submitted by Microsystems Njsa.com LLC for the reimbursement of postage cost for sending out assessment notices as required under NJSA 54:4-38.1 to notify taxpayers of their current assessments and proceedings year's taxes. I believe we have our tax assessor at Toulouse on the line.
Yeah, good afternoon again. The resolution basically seeks to pay the bill from Microsystems. Every year, once we get our assessment notices, that is basically the cost when the Microsystems sends this or sent this postcards or the assessment notices. It cost us like 35 cents with the more than 54,000 parcel notices we got. This has been, the bill been outstanding for the last time in almost more than a year. Every year, like around January, he sends out those notices. It has been bouncing back and forth. finally, you know, we are addressing this tax bill this bill to be paid.
Why is it a claim?
Because it is a claim because it's past the budget year that we had. This was intended to be paid with the budget year 2020.
I see. And so it can't be paid by the 2020 budget anymore through, what's that mechanism
That's
called,
correct.
John?
Yeah, moving forward, so we don't have any kind of duplications in terms of a contract with Microsystem. We moved our budget to the to IT. I think now they addressed the 2021 already.
But in 2020, you had the money in the budget?
Yes, it was just moved to another budget year.
I see.
Okay. Any questions? Anyone else? Next one, Sean.
Okay, thank you. Good night.
Good night, Ed.
You got more.
Okay, item 10.18, resolution 21-284. The resolution amending a professional service agreement with the law firm of Everett M. Bernstein and Associates to serve as special counsel to represent the city of Jersey City in tax appeals.
Nick? Can't
Sorry,
talk about this, right?
Council President, I was on mute. I apologize.
ahead.
Yeah, the next two contracts are for our outside counsel for tax appeals. Now, as I've been mentioning, we've been trying to phase that out as we brought somebody in-house to handle those. All the new tax appeal appeals have been going to him to include the county and state level. These are to hopefully close out all the ones from previous 3 years with our outside counsel firms. So hopefully we'll be moving forward with that a little quicker than we have been. Things have slowed down significantly in court systems to include the tax court due to the pandemic. So we're hopefully going to winding this down as quickly as possible. We're going a little slower than we had hoped. But like I mentioned, all the new appeals will be handled in-house.
Okay.
Is
Questions?
are tax appeals handled by the law department, or is it the tax assessor, or jointly?
Jointly. Yeah. We serve as the attorney when it goes to the county board or to the tax court. We serve as the counsel for the city. We're outside counsel previously. But everything is done in consultation with the tax assessor. It is an area of the law where it's very much a team effort between the law department and the assessor.
Okay, so let me just pose the question, and whoever can answer it from the tax assessor or the law department. What's the time frame for appeals for the 2021 year for tax appeals of 2020?
Now, the bills that we are basically paying for the two outside counsels, they address the tax appeals from prior years to the time where the law department basically trying to phase out the appeals that we have. Right now, if you're talking about the 2021 taxing year, the appeal deadline now is over. Every year we have this April 1st as the deadline for 2021 appeal. At the tax court level, they're required to address all the appeals by the end of the year. In terms of the tax court level, sometimes multi-years are being addressed before that court. In other words, our counsel would be addressing, together, of course, with the assessor, multiple years, because pending, year by year, they're added on into the current year.
Okay, with a deadline of April 1st for anyone who's appealing this year, are you aware at this point, or do you have a sense of how many appeals have been filed for Jersey City at this juncture, and is that more or less than in previous years?
At the county level, to date, we have 1,958 appeals being filed before the county. It's almost the same number that we have before the tax court. One of the reasons for this is that when we had the reval in 2018, most of the values for the city, since we brought them up to 100% of market value, so we got a lot of properties that are now above 1 million, which is basically the threshold that you go directly to the tax court. That's why, we have, almost the same number of appeals we have on both levels.
I'm asking about the tax appeals from year to year. Has it
Oh, yeah.
increased?
Yeah, I don't have the actual appeals we have from prior years, but they're almost the same, I think last year we got, if you give me a second, I'll give you the number.
You don't have to get it now. You can give us a report later. It's
all right. I can email you the appeals we had from prior years.
Okay.
But right now we have 1,958 at the county level.
We could get from the prior year before the
reval.
For the reval.
COVID.
And then
Okay.
up till COVID.
I'll send you the items, basically how many appeals we had before and after.
Great.
Okay. All right, Sean.
So I'll just read it into the record. We spoke about it already, but it's 1019 Resolution 21-285 is a resolution amending professional service agreement with the law firm of Florio Kenny Raval LLP to serve as special counsel to represent the city of Jersey City in tax appeals. Item 10.20 Resolution 21-286 is a resolution renewing professional service agreement with the law firm of Warner Suarez to represent the city of Jersey City in the matter of Ann Doyle.
Go ahead.
So this is a renewal of a contract for outside counsel. This case will be one of the ones briefed at your closed session on the 20th. I will say though that this case is still in the middle of discovery, and paper discovery is still being exchanged.
Okay. All right. Next one, Sean.
Okay. Item 10.21 Resolution 21-287 is a resolution amending a professional service agreement with Rayon, Coughlin, and Michello LLC to represent the city of Jersey City in various arbitrations.
Yeah, this is a renewal of an outside counsel contract we have for arbitrations. They've been doing it for a few years now.
Okay.
Okay.
I asked for a list of the arbitrations, if I can get a copy of that, the arbitrations that are currently on before the city.
All right, we'll discuss that and get back to you.
Okay. Item 10.22 Resolution 21.
I'm sorry, I'm going to insist on that. So I've asked for information like this in the past on different things, and I'm just going to be insistent upon it at this point that it's not really, there's nothing confidential about this. I'm asking for the information about the arbitrations that these firms are going to be working on or are currently working on, and I'm entitled to that information. So just I'm going to ask it again and request it. It's already been requested in writing, and I'll reiterate the request for that as well as the EEO and independent investigations.
Understood.
Okay. Item 10.22 Resolution 21-288 is a resolution renewing professional service agreement with Cleary, Jacoby, and Alferi Jacobs LLC to represent the city of Jersey City in various EEO independent investigations. Item 10.23, Resolution 21-289 is a resolution ratifying the award of professional service agreement with Bethgate, Wagner, and Wolf PC to represent the city of Jersey City in the matter of Donner Garvin versus the city of Jersey City.
I requested a copy of the complaint. The response came back to that there'll be a closed caucus, which is fine. I'm happy to have it and discuss it in closed caucus, but I would still request a copy of the complaint, which I believe is public information.
Understood, Councilman. And for the other members of the council, this will also be one of the ones discussed on the 20th.
Right, closed session. Okay, Sean.
Thank you. Item 10.24, Resolution 21-290 is a resolution authorizing the award of a contract to Noble System for an auto impound management software under the National Cooperative Purchasing Alliance for the Department of Public Works. Council members, the department director, Greg Kearse, sent a email with a memo attached addressing these various resolutions that are associated with the Department of Public Works. So if you do have any questions on top of the explanation, please email him directly, and I'm sure he'll get back to you as soon as he can.
Okay.
So he's not available for questions?
No, he's probably, it was an incident. today, and I know Craig, he was probably out there too, because
He's also the OEM director as well.
Right.
So he does dual roles, so I'm sure he's
Correct.
taking the call with that as well. Item,
Actually, that's fair. That's fair. I understand that. But actually, that reminds me then to John Metro. I think a couple of meetings ago, I asked about he's serving in an acting capacity as the DPW director, and no resolution had come before the city council. I don't know if there's a different rule for that, but the council had adopted a resolution extending your acting capacity, and that. As far as I recall, no further resolution was adopted for the DPW director, the acting DPW director. Will be forthcoming.
I'll check with the business administrator tomorrow and get an answer for you.
Great.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Go ahead, Sean. You're on mute, Sean.
thank you. Okay, you caught me there. All right, thank you. Item 10.25, Resolution 21-291, a resolution authorizing the award of a contract to Avid Exchange, Inc. for the New Jersey Energy Tracking and Bill Management System under New Jersey State Contract for the Department of Public Works, Division of Administrative Services.
John Lynch is here for that from DPW.
On this resolution, yes. Does anyone have any questions for Mr.
Go
Lynch?
ahead, John.
Yeah, hi, how you doing?
Explain it.
Great, so we get, wow, thousands of bills from PSE&G, so I mean, they probably kill a lot of trees. So basically Avid aggregates them all for us, and on a monthly basis, we send Avid the payments. It's for everything, street lighting, traffic signals, cameras, gas, electric, for all the various buildings.
Question?
John, in the process, Avid Exchange is checking to see for accuracy of the bill or any sort of errors in the bill. Is that accurate?
Yes, they actually send us a spreadsheet, a report, and we get to, review everyone every month. We do it on a monthly basis and everything. And the bills have been pretty consistent. It's been about $500,000 a month.
Okay. So my request is if I could get, Avid's been with us now for, I think, 5 years. Is that?
Yeah, I believe actually Steve Miller brought them in.
Yeah. So I would like to go back 2 years prior to when they started, because we're supposed to be realizing savings. So the cost of this contract includes the cost of their service plus our actual utility cost itself, right? It's the bills itself that are being paid. So if they can provide a breakdown between the amount of utility cost that we're spending and their fee for this period, and then if you can provide me prior to them being here, how much we were spending on utility bills prior to that, so that we can assess whether this has been a fruitful.
Well, okay,
contract.
like I say, we paid them about $700 a month. If we were to try to have somebody go through 1,000 of these bills, we'd have to hire at least a person, 1 or 2 people, just to go through thousands of bills, every month that we get. So, $700 is, really not that much that we pay them for a service fee. But the other breakdown that you want, Rolando, you want breakdown utility cost?
Correct.
Go ahead, I'm writing it down so this way I can reach out to them.
Great.
No, we'll continue. You said utility costs for the last 2 years?
Yep. Prior to the contract being implemented, and then the current cost and the cost to date, right? So.
Okay. All righty, thanks.
Okay.
Thank you, John.
Go ahead, Sean.
Thank you, John. Okay, next resolution, item 10.26, resolution 21-292 is a resolution authorizing the award of a contract to WE Timberman Company for the parts and repair services for road maintenance equipment under state contract with the Department of Public Works, Division of Automotive Maintenance. This is also addressed by Mr. Kearse's, Director Kearse's email.
Okay.
The next couple, actually. Anything that deals with DPW. Next one, item 10.27, resolution 21-293 is a resolution authorizing the award of a contract to Northeast Auto and Truck Parts LLC for the maintenance and repair of heavy-duty vehicles under state contract, Department of Public Works, Division of Automotive Maintenance. Item 10.28, resolution 21-294 is a resolution of the Municipal Council of the City of Jersey City in support of the expansion and improvement of the services provided at 514 Newark Avenue to people experiencing homelessness.
Okay. Okay, someone here to explain it. I know there's a lot of conversation around this one. Go ahead.
Sure. I'd be happy to explain this. This is Vivian Brady Phillips, Executive Director of the Jersey City Housing Authority. We're actually the landlord to Garden State Episcopal, which is funded by the City of Jersey City to operate a drop-in center for people experiencing homelessness. They are the coordinated entry organization, which is a required process that HUD mandates in order for us, for the city to provide emergency housing and other supports to people experiencing homelessness. This drop-in center has existed at this site for a very long time. What we're seeking to do is renovate the site, to put in ADA compliant elevator, to put in new bathrooms, to convert the breezeway so that it becomes a welcoming center. And we believe this will enable people to stay off of the street and come indoors and receive service. We also wanted to put a laundry facility inside so people who are experiencing homelessness could wash their clothes. There are also meals that happen, but the site is not set up for meals. So we wanted to create a space so that people could actually eat and sit down. Right now it's food mostly on a card table. The space was many years ago office space for the Jersey City Housing Authority. It was never set up to be a drop-in center for people experiencing homelessness. This has become more critical, especially in the time of COVID. COVID is something that people experiencing homelessness have a greater propensity to contract because homeless drop-in services are offered in a congregate setting. So we are not putting in a new facility here. This facility has existed here way before my time and many people here on this in this conversation. What we're seeking to do is renovate it. And yes, we did want to include showers in the renovated bathrooms. We believe this is a good way of making sure that we have the resources so that people can come inside, right, and get the services that we need. But this is not a new facility. This is a renovation.
Yeah, Ms. Brady, this is being pulled. The community was not notified. The people from Hudson Gardens are calling me. They are furious. And we have to sit down and talk, and it has to come to the community. I'm sorry, but we're having a lot of problems right now with Garden State Episcopal over there. And the neighborhood is just about had it. So it's being pulled.
And is the objection to the renovation to put in bathrooms and ADA
Speak to the
compliance?
people over there, speak to the people over there with the problems we're having because of Garden State Episcopal. So we're going to sit down, we'll talk, but the people from Hudson Gardens do not want it. My phone started ringing this morning. I got call after call after call from this whole community around here because they're tired of what's going on over there. We're having problems every day over there, and the people are just tired of it.
Rich,
So-
what she's saying is it exists already. Do the people realize that?
They're going to expand it. This is expanding it, and the people from Hudson Gardens are furious. One of the heads of the thing, I won't even, I'm not going to say what she was saying, but this has to be pulled. And, Garden State Episcopal has done nothing for the neighborhood. Garden State Episcopal has caused us a lot of problems over here. We send people there, and they do nothing. What? And there's two schools. There's a school across the street with a couple of thousand, 2,400, 2,500 kids. There's St. Joseph's School, and it's not, we don't want an expansion of this. And in fact, Garden State Episcopal should be out of there, according to the lot of the people in this
I
neighborhood.
just think what might be a good solution here is that maybe you need to just meet with Garden State Episcopal and Housing Authority to see exactly what Garden State Episcopal is not doing.
Joyce,
you know, because it exists already. I can see the people are upset, but it exists already. So maybe Garden State Episcopal is not doing something that, you know, they need to be aware of, or maybe something is happening they don't know. So, I mean.
And this was pulled on, nobody notified them, nobody notified the neighborhood, nobody notified anybody around the community.
In fact, Councilman Bergiano, this is Stacy Flanagan, and we started this conversation nearly a year ago with the Tenants Association. They actually walked through the space with me and discussed with me the location for senior lunch site that would come out of this renovation. No, it's not different. It's part of the renovation. The renovation is part of the
calls this morning were unbelievable. And nobody notified this community. Nobody notified the Hudson Gardens. And somebody said, "Oh, I think it was you, Stacy, that well, the people." Or somebody said, "People of Hudson Gardens know about it." Well, guess what? I don't think they did. But now it has to be.
I met with the tenants group, and they showed me several spaces that might be operable, and we actually walked through the space together.
Well, we have enough problems around here right now, and Hudson, the Garden State Episcopal is causing most of the problems. So, all right, for now, let's pull it. Let's sit down. Let's talk about it. Let's meet with everybody and discuss this. And don't pull a surprise like this on the people around here.
I understand, Councilman Bergiano, but we didn't think to put in new bathrooms, an elevator, and a laundry facility, especially when we had shared the need to renovate a space for vulnerable people, was bringing something new. We're not expanding the space, we're fixing it.
Brady, I've gone around, I give money to homeless people around this neighborhood. I feel sorry for them. I know I help everybody around here, but we've been having problems, and the problems being caused over there, and people are just tired of it. And as I said, let's sit down and talk about it. Don't pull a surprise like this. And one of the heads of Hudson Gardens this morning was really, really furious. And when I speak to you personally, I'll tell you what she said. Ms. Brady.
I'd like to hear it now.
No, you're not going to hear it now, because I'm not going to put something like that on the here.
Anybody else got questions here?
Can I
do. Go ahead.
Administration intention to withdraw it, or is that simply a request from the councilman?
I'm requesting.
He's requesting to withdraw it because he said the people were not notified. Okay. But it exists already.
I'll speak to the business administrator tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Because he didn't give me any guidance on this.
Okay, so speak to the business administrator in the morning, okay?
Yep.
And we'll come back. But Rich, you need to set up a meeting with all the parties that's involved, okay? Because it exists. So
it exists,
but it exists already. It's there. They just want to renovate it to kind of make it more livable. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, well,
I mean, to get a shower, to have a place to eat, and they're going there anyway.
Yeah,
so what are they on the floor?
We have the problem here, and it's gotten worse, and the conditions are horrible. Drinking outside, drugs outside, and people are just getting a little tired of it. And I don't want to hear anything about Garden State Episcopal. So.
Well, like I said, speak to the business administrator tomorrow. But like I said, it exists already. Okay, it exists already. I just want you to be aware of that. And
I know
like
it
to me, the people are upset, but I don't think maybe all the people that's going there is causing a problem.
Oh, Joyce, please.
Yeah.
They are causing the problem. Believe me. Let's move on.
Okay, so we'll speak to the business administrator tomorrow, and we'll have a conversation. Okay.
Can I
just renovating the place. Go ahead.
Can I direct a question and a statement? So the statement first, which is just I'm not going to opine about whether the community knew or not, and I'll let Councilman Boggiano have that conversation. But I do just want to speak about gardens. I will just kind of say that they've been I think a reputable service provider in the homeless space and the work they do. So I just want to put that out there to put that on the record in support of kind of Garden State and their efforts as the center for the county around homeless prevention. That being said, to the director, Vivian Brady Phillips, and this particular resolution is just a resolution in support. It seems largely, and correct me if I'm wrong, ceremonial, suggesting that the city council is in support of the effort. This resolution doesn't commit us to any particular funds, as far as I can tell. Is that accurate? And if so, then how are you paying for the expansion and the work to complete the renovations?
There have been conversations with the city about potential funding, right? And we have proposed a budget. But you're right, Councilman, this is a multi-part process. Before we begin with a renovation, we have processes that we have to do on our side, and we did want a letter of support and commitment from the city, which is the funder. The expectation would be that the city would lease the space for HHS, working with the sublessee Garden State. I should also say that the things that we're recommending are also what's usually mandated for a drop-in center. You want your drop-in center to be ADA compliant, right? We have an opportunity now to do that. We want to address the public health issue that is present whenever you have congregation of people, especially right now. Laundry facilities and actual food areas actually bring people off of the street inside the facility. And that is why we wanted to reconstruct the breezeway so that we could bring people in, which I think is responsive perhaps to some of Councilman Boggiano's concerns. We believe this will be a benefit to the people using the service and to the neighborhood to take a property that has not been rehabilitated or renovated and make it an appropriate use. Our expectation would be that the budget question and the lease issue would be before the council later once we have finished our processes. But the drop-in center is a mandated function of the federal dollars that the city receives. The city cannot have emergency funding for housing and not have coordinated entry. So this is not a discretionary function on the part of the Division of Community Development. It's really about the level of renovation and services that you offer inside.
So can you provide us with estimates if sure. While this doesn't commit us to specific dollar numbers right now, it would essentially put in motion, if it was adopted now or in the future, put in motion a process of dedicating dollars towards that process. I'm not opposed to the process in and of itself or this project or proposed project. I do think speaking to the community and the members and making sure that works is essential. But that being said, if we could get some financials about what the capital improvement costs would look like. And then my other piece of that is there's an operational cost to the city kind of moving forward. You talked about the leasing cost. And then I assume, not sure if Health and Human Services, I assume Garden State Episcopal will provide some of the intake and other services around that they would normally provide. But there are other services in terms of manning the showers or the maintenance of that stuff, those facilities, as well as the cafeteria and the food preparation and other things like that. So if could get a breakdown, if you have estimates on the ongoing costs for the city moving forward.
So, I would defer to Stacy on the operating costs. We can provide the proposed budget and the design, which has already been proposed and developed with HHS and Garden State.
Yeah, so there's three. there's three components to the funding. This first component, I don't know if Carmen wants to jump in because some of it's based.
Could you
in
send it to
COVID.
us? Just send it to
Okay.
us, really. Just send it to us. Go ahead, Sean.
So, sorry.
I'm sorry.
Council President.
Oh, go
Can I
ahead.
make one more point on this?
Go ahead.
So the last thing on this is, and I think,
James, wasn't that you?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Counsel.
Sure. I just a question for all three directors here. Just from a policy decision-making standpoint, why is this the best use of funds versus, in some ways expanding, our permanent supportive housing options? Obviously, to a degree, it's not mutually exclusive, and there's a degree to which resources are constrained. So if you could just give me a sense of your thinking on the use of these funds, that'd be great.
As I've said before, they are different functions. The city, as a recipient of HUD aid, has to have a coordinated entry. It's actually done for the county. It's a combination of city and county funding, and it is not a discretionary process. You need to have coordinated entry. You also have emergency housing dollars, and I'll defer to Carmen about that, but it's not an either or, right? Whenever you accept these HUD funds, you have to have coordinated entry and you have a drop-in center, and that is how you prioritize the level of service that someone experiencing homeless receives. So it is a mandated function that the city must do as a recipient of this HUD aid. We at the Housing Authority do not provide emergency housing. We are the landlord, and we also support organizations that manage emergency solution grant funds for for people experiencing homelessness. I hope that answers your question. There are different buckets of money and different required services in the scheme for serving people who are homeless. So it's not one versus the other. You require coordinated entry as a condition of your receipt of those federal funds.
Okay.
Carmen, did I say that
Any
correctly?
more questions?
Yeah, you did, right? So guys, I just want to say that, people experiencing homelessness, it's not just chronic homeless people, it is people experiencing homelessness. And the Division of Community Development has been a longtime funder and partner. The city's been a funder in the programs. And overall, what we're looking to do is improve services for all residents. And with the impact of COVID, I think that the experiencing level of homelessness and housing insecurity is going to be critical, and it's going to impact the city at a great capacity. If you've never walked into 514 and looked at the services being provided, we must and need to improve it. Vivian, Stacy, all parties at play, like this, we're an invested partner for years and years on end, and to improve supportive housing, to improve affordable housing, through housing for the homeless, it's in the mission and the framework that we do. And so I just wanted to, I know this is not my item, but it's something that's supported by the division. It's for context and clarity, and the financial impact of what's happening to the residents.
Look,
Okay.
you can say whatever you want, but right now, there's a lot of issues over there with what exists. The people do not want any more problems. And I'd like to know how long the lease over there for Garden State Episcopal is, because they've caused a lot of problems in this neighborhood.
I will help you get that information.
Okay, just send us the information that the council requested, and we talk to the BA tomorrow. Okay? All right, Sean.
Okay, item 10.29, resolution 21-295 is a resolution authorizing the award of a contract to Dude Solutions, Inc. for the maintenance software and inventory control and fleet management throughout Sourcewell Purchasing Cooperative for the Department of Public Works Division of Automotive Maintenance, also addressed in Director Kears's email. Item 10.30, resolution 21-296. It's a resolution ratifying and awarding an emergency contract with Clean Air Company for the repairs to the exhaust system in DPW Automotive Garage for the Department of Public Works Division of Automotive, also addressed in Director Kears's email and memo. Okay. Item 10.30.
Sorry, going back to the inventories, inventory control and fleet management. Is John Lynch available to discuss this, or is this? I
think this is Greg. Is this Greg or this is John?
I don't believe John Lynch is I don't know
I
if
don't
he's
believe.
on or not, but.
No, I have
there's
Hector
an automotive-
Ortiz. I have Hector Ortiz as the automotive contact, or oh no, James Lavero.
Is he on?
Okay.
No. But my understanding is, as Sean said, though, these were covered in the director's memo.
This was covered in the memo, Sean?
Yeah, this was part
Okay,
of
so
it.
we'll talk to Kears. Okay.
So any questions, just email Director. Okay, item 10.31, resolution 21-297 is a resolution authorizing the purchasing agent to sell various motor vehicles and equipment at public auction. Item 10.32, resolution 21-298 is a resolution authorizing the purchasing agent to sell various motor vehicles at public auction. Item 10.33, resolution 21-299 is a resolution authorizing the award of a contract to Jewel Electric LLC for the electrical equipment and supplies under state contract for the Department of Public Works, Division of Building and Street Maintenance, also addressed in Director Kears's email and memo. Item 10.34, resolution 21-300 is a resolution authorizing the award of a contract to Sherwin-Williams Company for the purchase and delivery of paint and related supplies throughout the Educational Service Commission of New Jersey for the Department of Public Works, Division of Building and Street Maintenance. This one,
This one is, so is this,
yeah, this
is
one
still,
is not part of Director Kears's memo, but I'm sure if anyone has any questions about it, just email them and they'll get back to you.
okay.
Item 10.35, resolution 21-301 is a resolution authorizing the award of an open-ended contract to Central Polybags Corporation to supply and deliver large black plastic bags at various municipal facilities. Item 10.36, resolution 21-302 is a resolution, number one, introducing and approving the 2021-2022 budget of the Exchange Place Alliance District Special Improvement District. And number two, directing the city clerk to publicly advertise the budget and schedule a public hearing. And number three, directing the tax assessor to prepare an assessment roll of properties within the district based upon the budget.
Sean, I don't believe the budget was attached to the resolution.
I apologize for that, but it is part of the agenda as well. I think it's in the petitions and communications. I will address that and make sure that the budget and the assessment roll, well, the assessment roll will be a separate resolution, but I will make sure that the budget gets attached to the resolution. I apologize for that. But I believe it is item 6.4. No, I'm sorry. That's the Exchange Place. I'll make sure it gets attached. I apologize.
Sure.
All right. Item 10.37, resolution 21-303, resolution authorizing an emergency temporary appropriation.
Are this just the increases for the quarter, or is that?
Kyle is here if you have questions.
Kyle?
Yeah, I'm here. So all the salary and wages is approximately another quarter of the year. Originally, when we approved the temporary budget, it was up to 26% of the prior year budget amount. So that's why you see a lot of salary wages in this at this time of year. And there's a few other operating expenses in there for some divisions as normal businesses.
Did we get this as an Excel spreadsheet, Kyle? And
Yep, no problem. Yep.
Okay.
Item 10.38, resolution 21-304 is a resolution of the Municipal Council of the City of Jersey City authorizing a subgrantee agreement with the Jersey City Housing Authority for administering the city's United States Department of Treasury Emergency Rental Assistance Program for a grant period of January 7th, 2021 to September 30th, 2022.
Who's this? Who's this? Carmen? Who's
Yep,
this?
I'm here.
Go ahead, Carmen, explain.
Yep, so this is the Treasury grant dollars. So in January, we applied for rental assistance. So this is going to be phase 2 of rent relief. Earlier in January, we went out with the first round using CDBG funds. We're looking to award this contract to the Housing Authority so that hopefully, I'm going to say end of May, beginning of June, we launch the second round of rental assistance, and they will be our administrator.
So, okay, so this is different from the fund pot of money that, the 7 million that we approved last time, I think, or thereabouts,
So it's kind of sort of in line, right? So we got to do the steps. We got to apply, then we got to recognize, and then we got to contract. This is the contractual resolution.
I thought the other money was going to the same 4 nonprofits that,
So that was, so phase 1 was done under CDBG.
Yeah.
Out of last year's budget, we went out with that first round. While CDBG was active, that application process was active, we had to apply for these funds. So it was kind of sort of, do we wait? Do we go? Do we not go? So CDBG was used first. Now this second round or phase 2 is Treasury dollars, federal Treasury dollars.
Okay, so the first round was 3 million approximately or thereabouts, and then this one was 7.
2.5.
2.5.
Anyone else? Okay, Sean. Thank you, Carmen.
Thank you, Carmen. Item 10.39, Resolution 21-305, a resolution appointing David Moore as a member of the Jersey City Municipal Utilities Authority. Just for your edification, the resume and letters are all attached to each resolution. I don't know when the last time the council members took a look. When the agenda was first published, I didn't have them attached. They are attached. They were attached today before the caucus.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Item 10.40, Resolution 21-306 is a resolution appointing Karen DeSoto as a full-time judge of the Jersey City Municipal Court.
Go ahead.
Item 10.41, Resolution 21-307, resolution appointing Paul Scalia as a full-time judge of the Jersey City Municipal Court. Item, go ahead.
So I'm going to ask a question of the law department. Back in, I think it was 2019 or so, I raised a question about the CFO's, the appointment of the CFO. I think it was 2019, maybe 2018. I don't recall exactly. But if you recall, I had asked about the question of residency as a requirement for appointment to positions. And ultimately voted no on that. I think I was the only council person at the time who voted no against that appointment. I believe the law department provided a memo on that to the question of residency and the applicability, because we have certain laws under the municipal code in relation to residency.
Councilman, I don't want to interrupt you. If I can help you, there's a specific provision related to municipal court judges in the municipal code, and I can read it for everybody. It's chapter 23-10. All municipal court judges shall be domiciled in the city of Jersey City at the time of their appointment and during their terms of office. In the event the municipal court judge shall move his or her domicile out of the city, his or her office shall be deemed to be vacant. So the CFO is not a different matter, but municipal court judges are a specific ordinance or code provision dealing with their residency.
Okay, can you send me that section?
Sure.
That's council. I appreciate it. That's in our code or is that state law?
It's in the municipal code.
It's in the code. Yeah, I asked the same question.
And can I ask how domicile is defined? Or domiciled, the verb?
I believe it's defined as a primary place of residence, but I will get you the specific definition of domicile.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Hey, Nick, I have a question.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I have a question. I was gonna ask the same thing that Councilman Solomon just asked, but at the same time, is it possible to have multiple residents? Because I know one of my best friends, he lives in Sparta, well, he lives in Jersey City, but he has Sparta as a weekend house. Like, so how do you really, I mean, what are the things that really say that someone lives here? What's the residency clause? And I think that's probably what Councilman Solomon asks.
Well, I'll double check the city code. I just looked at the municipal court section. I didn't see any definition of domicile in there. So I would defer to state law or to any court definitions. For purposes of taxes, for example, for individual state laws, for example, if the state of New Jersey declares you a state of New Jersey resident if you're here more than 6 months out of the year, so 6 months in one day. Also, where you vote is another part of where you live. So there are a variety of factors. It's not generally under the law. It's not one thing or another thing. Because like you mentioned, a lot of people have different homes. They live different places, either within the state or out of state. Domicile, you can only really have one domicile. You say, where do you live? It can really only be one place. And then you have a place, you have a vacation home or a secondary home, but ultimately you can only live one place.
And that's pretty much based on where you register to vote?
Voter registration is a huge part of it, and also
intent as well.
How much time you spend in one place versus the other. I think somebody hard pressed say, I live in some place, I spend a month out of the year and 11 months someplace else.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily in the eye of the beholder where I can say for my own personal benefit where I domicile, but it really is dependent on a variety of factors. But where you spend most of your time, where you register to vote, where you pay taxes in the case of a state income tax situation, all of those are factored in.
Okay. Councilman Saleh, could you repeat what you said?
Well, I said also intent as well. Like if you're planning on moving from like one place to another and you start the process, then, you would, once you start to transition to another place, then intent plays into where you'd be technically domiciled. Like you intend to move to like Atlanta, Georgia, you know?
Absolutely, but for this particular code provision, you have to be domiciled there at the time of appointment, so within the city of Jersey City.
In time of the ordinance.
There are other provisions of the city code where someone needs to move within a year of receiving a certain position. This is not one of those.
Okay, so you'll send the definition, correct?
Yeah. We'll do the statutory research on domicile definition, and we'll forward it to everyone.
Okay.
And that's a state statute, or that's something that we gonna come up with for Jersey City?
The first step would, given the fact that this is coming out of the city code, the first step we reviewed the city code to see if there's any definition of domicile. I just reviewed the municipal court section. I did not see it in there, but I'll review the remainder of the code to see if there's a definition of domicile for purposes of the city code. If there isn't, then we expand the world of definitions to figure out maybe there's a good definition of state law or federal law to make sure we're applying an objective standard. But the primary, because we're getting this from the city code, our preference is obviously to look at the city code first to see where there might be a definition of domicile in it.
All right. Okay. All right. Thanks, Nick.
Thanks, Nick. Item 10.42, Resolution 21-308 is a resolution appointing Rata Chata as a part-time judge of the Jersey City Municipal Court. Item 10.43, Resolution 21-309, resolution appointing Rami Ayed as a chief judge of the Jersey City Municipal Court. Item 10.44, resolution 21-310. It's a resolution of the Municipal Council of the City of Jersey City authorizing a home investment partnership program agreement with 311 Martin Luther King Drive, LLC, for the 311-315 Martin Luther King Drive residential units and increasing the affordability period to 30 years. Item 10.45, Resolution 21-311. It's a resolution of the Municipal Council of the City of Jersey City to execute a grantee agreement with the Jersey City Housing Authority for administering the Jersey City's COVID-19 CARES Act funds for the Community Development Block Grant Housing Navigation Program under program year April 1st, 2020 to March 31st, 2022.
Okay.
And the last resolution, item 10.46, Resolution 21-312 is a resolution supporting the creation of a Jersey City Civilian Complaint Review Board after final passage of Assembly Bill 4656.
Counsel, for this one, this is a resolution version of the Ccrb ordinance that we were originally doing. We discussed last time the legal issues or possible legal issues with the current version. We decided to put this resolution on that shows our commitment as a council. I believe that the community is looking for a commitment that once everything passes at the state, we are committed to passing a Ccrb, creating a Ccrb in Jersey City with subpoena power. So that is what this is saying. And it also attaches the current version of Assemblywoman McKnight's bill to this resolution, and says that once that bill is passed in the state with any necessary amendments, then the City of Jersey City will move forward with creating their Civilian Complaint Review Board. On our last call with the Assemblywoman, myself, and Councilman Solomon, we had some discussion. We don't want to delay support for her in Trenton. We'd like to move forward. We understand that some council people may not have been comfortable with the questions around the legality of the last ordinance. But we do.
Councilwoman Ridley, can you turn down the volume on your computer?
Oh, you know what? I might be getting an echo from somebody else in the office.
Oh, okay. Yeah, pretty bad feedback. And I want to make sure the members of the public can hear you clearly.
I apologize. This office
No.
is crazy.
Right.
That's why I try not to meet here, but
it's much better now. Okay?
But yeah, so the last meeting we had, we want to make sure that we are supporting our Assemblywoman in Trenton and show that we are committed to supporting her here in Jersey City and to supporting ourselves by creating a Ccrb. There are other questions around whether the stance of the police unions that was sent in the memo to us is accurate, and those things can still be examined and will still be examined. I know that there are a few things that Councilman Solomon spoke to me about looking into, and that does not stop that. So I'll let Council Solomon speak, but this is the current resolution that I'm going to ask that we pass for this meeting.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Just briefly, I've talked to the law department, and I am working with them and looking into on my own this question of the issues that police unions raised that sort of pushed us aside from passing the actual ordinance that we were working towards, this question of a collective bargaining issue. And my hope would be that Jersey City could proactively go before the Public Employee Relations Committee to ask for a review of the collective bargaining questions as it relates to Ccrb. This is an issue we're going to have to address no matter what. Once the state bill is passed and we put in our own Ccrb, these same collective bargaining questions will remain. So I am looking to see what we can do to get that question answered and to overcome this, what I view as a delaying tactic from Ccrb. But with that said, I think that the core focus is doing what we can to pass Assemblywoman McKnight's bill in Trenton, which would then enable us to have a strong Ccrb here in Jersey City.
Okay.
And one more thing, Council, there was language, like some of this was copied from the ordinance version. So there is language that is ordinance language and not resolution language that we are looking to take out for Thursday. So towards the end where it says now therefore the Municipal Council of Jersey City does ordain. That should be resolved in section A, and the language in bold is coming out. That's ordinance related language.
Councilperson Ridley, if you would just send me those changes that you would like to make, I will
Yes.
make sure that that gets done, and it'll be updated for the meeting on Thursday.
Will do.
Thank you.
What is the change, Councilperson Ridley?
We're taking out that section A, and then the next 3 lines after that where it says Chapter 3 Administration of Government, Articles 3-88, all of the ordinance language.
All the way through till the end, state of New Jersey, or just the?
No, the last statement will read, I'll read the entire statement. Assembly Bill 4656, as may be amended, attached hereto as Exhibit A, shall be incorporated into the city code and shall be adopted by the city of Jersey City upon the final passage of the New Jersey State Legislature and the Governor of New Jersey. At that time, the city of Jersey City shall pass an ordinance amending the city code to create a civilian complaint review board consistent with those powers granted to it by the state of New Jersey. And I'll circulate that to the entire council, the updated version, so everybody's clear.
Okay. The question I want to raise is because at the last meeting, I believe it was the last meeting, you gave us the update, Councilperson Ridley, and then there was a request to get a copy of the complaint or letter from the union, as well as the I guess the response to that. And I think it was, and I don't know if others got it, but I never received that, and I'd still like to see a copy of that prior to this.
Nick, can we circulate that if we haven't circulated that already?
Yeah, we can circulate the letter from the union, absolutely.
Okay.
Was there an official response from law or the city or council persons in relation to that letter?
I don't believe there was a formal response, but I'll double check.
Was there any memos issued to opine on the validity of that letter from the police? I'm looking for whatever information is available, basically, to be able to.
Did you circulate it to us, Nick?
Where we're at.
You can give it to Des, she'll circulate it.
I'm not sure what the status of, I'm not sure what was created in response, but I know we obviously do have the letter, which I will circulate. And I'll see what else was created in response.
Okay. Okay,
Thanks, Nick.
Okay.
all right.
All right. May I have a motion to adjourn at 6?
I'm sorry. Sorry. Let me just can I just ask as the going back to the final resolution. So the language in the Assembly bill speaks to the membership and talks about the members being appointed by the mayor or other chief executive officer of the municipality with the consent of the governing body. This is on page 7 of the resolution itself at the top. And it says the mayor or other chief executive officer of the municipality shall solicit recommendations for members to be appointed to the Municipal Civilian Review Board from members or organizations concerned with the issues of civil rights, human rights, or racial, social, or economic justice and equality. Does that language, which is underlined and inserted, does that suffice to address the version of the municipal code that was initially introduced that would allow for the organizations and the council at large and other folks to make recommendations, or is that language as it stands within the proposed state legislation, Assembly Bill 4656? If that's or does it not? Does it empower that and allow for that portion of the municipal code to exist? My question. If anyone can opine on that.
I mean, I think the law department can give a formal answer. My reading on it is that it allows for that to exist because the community groups and the council at large would review resumes, would provide recommendations. It would then be in the mayor's discretion to forward those to the council, and then it would be in the council's discretion to approve them or not. So my reading on it is that it does allow for what been proposed, but, I'd defer to the law department for a formal legal analysis of that clause.
Yeah, my understanding is the same as Councilman Solomon, but I'll leave that up to the law department.
Yeah, I believe that is correct based upon the language from the Assembly bill. The important thing for the Assembly bill is the perspective is make sure that those voices and those groups who have an interest in the appointment of the CCRB have an opportunity to be heard and have resumes reviewed and give recommendations. The manner in which that is conducted is really up to the municipality as long as it is consistent with the state law.
Okay. And my final question is just on the letter from the union, without having seen it. Did you? I know there's no. You're from your reply, Nick. I'm gathering there's been no official memo or legal opinion on whatever has been that the union is suggesting is the issues at hand, and so do you have an opinion that you can provide the council with as it pertains to whatever assertions that the union is making in their letter?
I believe Mr. Baker opined on that at the last meeting, so I'll concur with Mr. Baker's opinion on that, which is he shares the concern of the union in that the creation of the CCRB without it being negotiated could be a violation of the contractual obligations we have with the unions.
Okay.
Okay, Sean.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
I have a motion to adjourn at 6:26 p.m. by Councilperson Rivera. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilperson Prinzeri. On the motion to adjourn at 6:26 p.m. All council members present by acclamation, please say aye.
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 We are out of here at 6:26 p.m. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, members of the public, city council members, council president, members of my staff, and members of IT making this all possible. Without you guys, this would not be possible. And remember, when you're out and about, please mask up. We're still fighting this pandemic and we're far from done. All right. Have a great night and stay safe.
Good night.